Salutations, everypup, and welcome to Chapter 27 of the Traffic Light Trio. I know I'm not the person who you expected to be reading today, but I will be taking over. The playlist where you can find the previous video in the series will be linked at the beginning and the end of the episode. Today we'll be reading Chapter 27 of the Traffic Light Trio by Itslivybear. Let's jump on into it. Chapter 27, The Midoriya Rescue License Exam, Part 1. Chapter Summary. Let's be real. That's what this is. Welcome to the Provisional Licensing Exam. Mina snickered beside him. More like the Mida Rescue License Exam, she muttered, and Izuku felt zero remorse elbowing the air out of her lungs. We had to revamp, so let me gather my notes. The tired-looking man, Mera, shuffled some papers around before finding the one he was looking for. Right. So, we're only planning on letting 100 of you pass. There were easily 1,000 people here. And your objective is pretty simple. There are a few marked zones around the area, and your goal is to get in one and maintain your position, like King of the Hill. The round is over after an hour. Each zone can only hold a certain number of people, from 2 to 10. If there are too many people in a zone at the end of the round, the ones closest to the edge fail. Anyone knocked unconscious or who suffers a major injury is counted as out and will be removed from the test. Please have no questions. Izuku blinked and looked at the class. If all 20 of them were to pass, they had to work together and split up, since the chances of them finding 2 10-capacity zones next to each other was pretty impossible, and there wasn't a zone bigger. Plus, they had to maintain the zones against at least 5 times the amount of people inside. On the other hand, having each zone have limited space meant that the people outside would want to cull the numbers too. Was it better to get a zone at the beginning, or wait for people inside one to tire and then swoop in toward the end? Izuku pulled Momo to the middle of the class as everyone got a second to think before the test actually started. We have to split up. I don't know your formations, but I want A and Denki on my team at least. They nodded, serious. Momo hummed. Starting class. Find zones to accommodate us. Defense and offense are equally important in this, unless we simply wait until the last moment to take over a zone. It is, however, dangerous. I would strongly recommend distrusting proposed alliances from other schools, and please watch each other's backs. Pokugo punched his fist together. Let's show these motherfuckers why UA is the best hero school! Everyone nodded and turned to face Mera again. He looked over the crowd of children and sighed. Your time starts now. They ran immediately. Izuku was heaving, the short stops and starts of sprinting not helping at all, but he could quickly calm his racing heart as he looked around the partially destroyed landscape. A and Denki were right beside him, looking as well. They had to find a zone. They were 15 minutes in. Denki tapped them both and jerked his head to the side. There, lit up with a blue border with a pole in the middle indicating the clock, and 0 out of 5 was a zone. Glancing around but spotting no one, they ducked out from behind the rubble and dashed for the zone. Izuku saw a flash of green and black and whirled instantly to face whoever was also running for the zone. Shindo Yo, and beside him, the blonde girl from the start of the exam. Immediately, the boy held up his hands with a smirk. No need to fight, UA. There's enough space in that zone for all of us. Why don't we team up before other people get here? A scoffed a little. You're the one who disrupted the entire arena, and you want us to trust you enough to team up? You'd sell us out as soon as any of your classmates showed up. Izuku held up a hand. We don't have much of a choice, unless we want to fight right now. We have a numbers advantage right now, but we all want to pass. Plus, we definitely do the same thing. The girl grinned and held out a hand. Pleasure to meet you, Nakagame Tatami, Ketsubutsu, or Turtleneck. This is Damn it, gotta use those hero names, huh? Izuku nodded. Traffic light, green lightning. This is Yellow Shock and Red Riot. Shindo snickered. Really leaned into the color thing, huh? I can respect that. You already saw our quirks, so hopefully that will be enough to let you trust us, eh? Denki grinned. Oh yeah! We have an advantage! Izuku frowned. No, we don't. You saw us in the sports festival. Shindo shrugged. Darn, you caught me. Here's to a wonderful friendship. They stepped into the zone, watching the border turn green and the number change to 5 out of 5. As if summoned, a horde of 7 people surged over a hill. No one from either school, and they readied themselves into stances. The zone was a square, 10 feet on either side, so perfectly fit to hold 5 people and give them room to maneuver. As soon as the first person crossed the barrier, the light turned red and it went to 6 out of 5. Clearly, it wanted everyone to be very clear that this needed fixing. Izuku powered up to 10%, not wanting to show his hand to their tentative allies quite yet, and delivered a quick boosted kick to someone's jaw, making them fall back from the force and taking them out of the fight, and maybe the exam, if Mero was to be believed. He could taste the crackle of electricity on his tongue as 2 more slumped to the ground in his peripherals, and Shindo wasted no time punching 2 more in quick succession, letting Nakagame and A take out the last 2. All 7 were unconscious in one way or another. Medbots quickly came to take the 7 away, and Denki rolled his shoulders, casting appraising glances at the other 2. You guys aren't half bad. Nakagame grinned. Yeah, for first years you guys are pretty good. Most of the time, schools don't let you take this exam until second year. Guess those villain attacks really scared him. A's grin was a little sharper, but that might have just been his teeth. Yeah, the whole class is hoping to pass so we can stop getting in trouble. Shindo raised an eyebrow. In trouble? For what? Denki chuckled, and Izuku just set his jaw and looked away, letting the blonde explain. Well, Mito here keeps getting himself kidnapped. I literally have no say in it, but go off. And if we get licenses, we can legally go rescue him instead of illegally rescuing him. The 2 Ketsubutsu students looked at each other before taking in all 3 expressions, and then they burst out laughing. Okay, Nakagame choked around her laughter. I have got to hear this story, or multiple, since there seems like more than one. Denki and A were quick to talk about Hosu, then the class activity, both of them, then the mall, taking a brief break to knock out more people who tried getting close, then fucking Kamino. And when she had finished laughing, the blonde girl turned to her classmate with dead seriousness. Shin, we are never betraying them, ever. I don't even care if Makebe or Totiki show up. They can find another zone, but these guys are now my homies. Plus, by the sound of things, if we abandoned them, Greenlight would find a way to get captured, and that wouldn't be very heroic at all. The boy snorted. Sure, sounds fine. Congrats, because of your unfortunate history, you now have staunch allies in Ketsubutsu. Izuku grinned, flicking a finger at someone who was trying to creep up on them and sending them flying from the 15% flick. Good to know my misery brings good to things for my class. We only have 10 minutes left before this is over. I'm expecting a big push. A cocked his head. I don't know. We're in a pretty isolated zone from what I've seen so far. Plus, there was that sound of a big battle over that way, and I'm pretty sure that flare was Momo, so chances are she either found a large group or wanted to draw one in to take people out. At the last 2 minutes, someone popped ahead of the wall of rubble and visibly safe. Shindo! Thank goodness! Help me out, man! Shindo barely looked at them before sending vibrations to collapse the rubble on top of them. What? Shindo! What the heck? We're from the same school! He eyed them and shrugged. Sorry, Mitsukasa. Made a deal. You still have another year to get it. Don't worry. The boy, dubbed Mitsukasa, gave out strangled yells and protests, but Shindo ignored them. He raised an eyebrow at the grinning UA trio and shrugged. I don't break deals. The timer sounded and the zone lit up blue again. That concludes the first portion of the exam. Stay on your platforms, please. The ground shook briefly before the platforms started to rise in the air, a solid 2 stories into the air. All around, Izuku could see other platforms rising, all in various sizes. He managed to pick out one platform of 10 with his classmates on it, costumes recognizable even from the distance, and he grinned, nudging his friends and pointing them out. Eyeing the rest of the platforms led him to believe that the whole class had passed around one. Right, give us a moment to clear out those who didn't pass. Remind me who thought this was a good way to tell who did and didn't pass. Her? Oh, no wonder this is a technical nightmare. Right, anyway, while the others are cleared out, please pay attention to the screen. The screen that had shown the timer flickered to show the entire scope of the arena, with multiple different zones all around, kind of like the USJ. As you can see, the zone is... What do you mean it's not? Well, then press the button. Still examinees. Fine. Then, when you're ready, I guess. After a minute of awkward silence, Mara spoke again. Finally. Everything rumbled, and they could only watch in horror as the entire arena became a ruin zone. As you can see, the zone is relatively messed up right now. Members of the Help Us Company, or HUC, are around the area, acting as victims, and people needed to be rescued. We're about to lower the platforms back down. As soon as the border of the zones turned green, the second part of the exam will start. The platform started moving, still at a slow crawl, and Shindo immediately whirled on them. Okay, we have until this gets down to the ground to plan. What are you guys good at? I'm fast, Izuku offered. And strong. Denki scratched his head. More suited for combat, but I can increase the range of communications and draw on electricity if that's a danger. So I might head to the city zone. A flexed. Strong and sturdy. Shindo nodded. Naka, you feel like triage duty? She grinned. I can squeeze into tight spaces, but it's not as helpful if I can't get anyone else out. Count me for triage. He nodded. Right. Focus on rescue. We're going to set up a first aid station, so bring them here. Everyone you see in costume is an ally. They all nodded, just as the platform touched down. After a tense second, the light turned green again, and they all shut off. They had an exam to complete. Author's notes. Ah-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha! First part of the exam is different, and as for the second part, it sure looks normal. Smiley face that's winking. And that is a wrap on chapter 27. I'm not going to be able to tell you who's reading the next chapter, because I have not looked at the schedule, and I'm picking up this chapter for someone else who's unable to continue. That's also why it's a day late. We learned that this person was unable to continue yesterday, for reasons I'm not gonna say. It's not my place. And then I fell asleep, and then I went to the beach today, and then I got caught in a riptide, and I almost died. So that was fun. That doesn't really matter, though. So, please leave some love for Itslivybear. Please go show the original author, Itslivybear, some love. Please leave me a comment. I love reading comments. They make me so happy. Please leave me specifically hate comments, and I'll shout you out in the next one of these that I do. Oh, that being said, shout outs to nobody, because nobody left me a comment. Also, if you like the artwork that I used, check out my description and it'll link where I got the artwork from, because it's not mine. I did not paint that. I'm not good at digital art like that. I'm gonna go to sleep. It's 1:36 and I have a migraine. I think that's all I say. Is that all I say? Yeah, that's all I say. Alright. Well, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye, pups.